So, I feel like I'm a little late on this. What can I say? Work's been busy. I don't know. I'm tired. But that being said, in case you haven't heard, the 34th entry in the MCU was released this past weekend, that being, of course, Deadpool and Wolverine. Ever since the acquisition of Fox by Disney, fans have eagerly waited to see how they would adapt fan favorite characters like the X-Men and Fantastic Four, but perhaps the character that people were most interested in is Deadpool, for obvious reasons. The character's crass and vulgar sense of humor and the R-rated violence were massive reasons behind the first two Deadpool films being massively successful. So fans including myself were curious to see if Disney, known for being family friendly, would stay faithful when adapting the foul-mouthed Merc. And if you were wondering, yeah, they do. This film feels like another Deadpool movie, with all the dick and ball jokes along with a plethora of severed limbs and gallons of blood spewing across the screen. Fans became even more excited when it was announced Hugh Jackman would be reprising his role as Wolverine and the film would operate as a sort of buddy cop film with Jackman's Wolverine and Reynolds' Deadpool. However, one of the big worries was that the character had what many considered to be the perfect send-off in 2017's Logan, a satisfying and heartfelt goodbye to a character we had loved. And honestly, I want to preface this by saying I did like this movie. But I wish that Jackman's version of the character had remained in 2017. It's not even that Jackman was bad or this version of the character wasn't satisfying, but it just reminds me of the age-old saying, too much of a good thing is a bad thing. But this isn't a review of the film. There's dozens of YouTube videos with folks giving their thoughts on the film, and if you want mine, here's a short summarization. Despite not being the biggest fan of Deadpool films and the style of writing which pokes fun at lazy storytelling, which I feel doesn't discredit the criticism that it is lazy writing, but with that knowledge, I enjoyed the movie. It was a fun summer blockbuster that is probably 20 minutes too long and has a few too many dick jokes for me, but I enjoyed the experience and had fun with it. Some of the action was entertaining, I chuckled a few times, and had fun with some of the cameos. That aside, and to the title of this video, despite not being in love with Deadpool and Wolverine, this film surprised me. Now, 95% of this movie is what I expected. Meta jokes about Disney and Fox, fun cameos, and some decent action sequences. But what I didn't expect was at the core of this film, it's essentially a love letter to the Fox era of superhero and comic book movies. Spoilers for Deadpool and Wolverine, if you haven't checked it out, give it a watch and come back, or if you don't care about spoilers, keep on listening. Now, if you've seen the films, the aforementioned cameos were pretty fun, whereas I felt the Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness cameos were sort of underwhelming. The cameos here are truly enjoyable across the board. You get your fun ones seen in the trailers like Toad and Sabretooth from the original X-Men, you get Pyro from X2 and Azrael from First Class, you even get Juggernaut from The Last Stand, although they didn't bring back Vinnie Jones and I don't exactly know why. But the more secretive ones included Jennifer Garner as Elektra, Wesley Snipes as Blade, Channing Tatum as Gambit, and Daphne Keane as Laura/X-23. Oh, and we also get Chris Evans as the Human Torch, which was the one cameo that I desperately wanted to see. So bonus points for that. If you're not noticing a trend, all the cameos in the film are characters from prior Fox superhero films. Whereas the Illuminati in Doctor Strange is just a bland collection of characters like an alternate Captain Marvel or Black Bolt, characters that really serve no purpose and don't jazz up the audience. Not to say anyone was screaming to see Jennifer Garner's Elektra, but when you consider the plot of the film, it all starts to add up. The main plot revolves around Deadpool and Wolverine getting trapped in the void that we saw in Loki Season 1, where the monster Alioth roams the void, devouring any and all. So I find it less than coincidental that this is where we see all these cameos. All of the characters previously mentioned are in this void, a place where forgotten things like Channing Tatum's passion project as Gambit and disregarded or bashed versions of characters like Chris Evans' Human Torch and Jennifer Garner's Elektra are dumped and discarded. I fully expected this film to have Deadpool make several jokes at the expense of Fox and their failed films, and this does happen. A lot. But what surprised me, what caught me off guard, was that this film also takes this as an opportunity to show a real love and appreciation for that era of films. Sure, the Fox comic book films aren't the best, I myself have been super critical of them in the past, but also it's undeniable that without a lot of them, we wouldn't have the comic book films that we do now. Without more serious and grounded films like X2, you don't have a Captain America Winter Soldier, so it's easy to point and laugh at the films and their failure, but what Deadpool and Wolverine does, not only with the implementation of using this wasteland of quote-unquote trash as a vessel to showcase these forgotten characters one last time, but the character of Wolverine himself, a character that most of us grew up watching. I mean, Jackman has now played the character for 24 years. As a 26-year-old, that's an insane amount of time to me. This character, whom we've always seen as heroic and brave, this time we're given a version who's a failure himself. This version failed his universe and is seen in a very negative light. When we find him, he's drinking himself into a coma. By the end of this film, this character goes on an arc and learns what it means to be a hero, to realize that it's never too late. Even when the world disregards you and throws you in the trash, you can still dig yourself out of it, and that even in failure, you can find success. You can find the good. Deadpool and Wolverine isn't concerned with bashing Fox films, but instead celebrating them. I grew up watching the Fantastic Four films, and when I was a kid, I remember my dad showing me the X-Men movies, watching Daredevil on FX in middle school. These films may not all be great, but they're a part of a lot of us. And just because something isn't great doesn't mean it doesn't have its place in the grander scheme. They may not all be great or even good, but the Fox films will always be a fond memory for me, and I appreciate Deadpool and Wolverine for taking this film as an opportunity to wave them goodbye in a respectful and appreciative way. Well, that's it for today, guys. As always, if you liked the video, make sure to click the like button, subscribe if you want to hear more from me, and click the little bell notification button so you get notified when I post new content. As always, I'll see you guys on the next video.